Good evening. Welcome to the Unplanned Adventure. I'm Ryan. And let's see, let's just make sure everything's working. As always, I'm going to have to check it before I get too crazy. Let me do something real quick. All right. Hopefully that worked. Then, as always, got to find out which camera's working because I was in a hurry and I was throwing all this together as fast as possible. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the show, The Unplanned Adventure. I'm going to talk about some different conditions. I'm going to add a few conditions that I don't usually talk about, and we're going to have a safety segment, and we're going to talk about two apps that I think are just crucial that you have while you're out there riding. Real quick, give me 2 seconds. Everybody just hold on 1 second. I'm going to check something. I just want to make sure that my sound is working. I want to make sure that my my stream is even going because this stuff is so unpredictable. I usually wear some headphones. I haven't been able to put all that back together, so I'm kind of just winging it from night to night. Every night I'm learning something different. I'm learning how to put this stuff together, do a little bit better. So look at that. There it goes. Hopefully it sounds okay. Yep, it does. All right, so we'll get back into this. And the other thing I want to do is check which camera am I on? Because that's another thing that happens from time to time. I lose which camera is on there. It doesn't always work as well as it should. And this stuff is really frustrating. So if I was a bigger show and I had all these other people in the background, then of course I wouldn't have to do all this, but I'm doing all this myself on the fly, get it all together. And of course you want to upgrade. I don't want you to upgrade. So then I put on my AI tracking so it can follow me around, do all that fun stuff. I don't want to do that. All right, let's get back to the show here. And let's start with the snow conditions. So the weekly outlook right now, it's light to moderate snow throughout the week. In northern Michigan, especially around the Indian River area, they need it really bad. The snow is kind of blowing off of the trails. More snowmobile traffic there is. It's blowing off the trails and causing some conditions to be somewhat bare in some areas. So we need some snow. They are expecting 2 to 6 inches in some of the areas, but it's hit or miss because they've been calling for that on and off all week or for the last couple of weeks. And 1 minute there's maybe 2 to 3 inches on the ground, and then other areas there's nothing. So it's just the best we can hope for is that the groomers can keep pulling in the snow from the sides and from higher areas that are building up and making those little moguls and stuff in the trails, and they can kind of pack it down and make keep that base going. The best part is there's a good base down. No matter what you're doing, if it's blowing some snow off of there and showing a little bit of ice, that can be kind of tough. But for the most part, the ground is pretty solid, and the snow that's there provides a very good base. So we'll just have to keep hoping that maybe some more snow drops. But either way, you still have some really good riding out there. If you follow me on Facebook and on YouTube, you saw that I posted the Groomer was out last night. They sent me some video. I put it all together. And I have some more video I'm going to put together, and I'm going to put it all out there. And hopefully you guys can see all of that and make a good determination. Plus, one of the apps we're going to talk about later on in the show is going to cover more of that. All right, so let's see here. Michigan, Wisconsin. So I'm adding, if you haven't already noticed, I'm going to add more and more and widen my area. I do talk about northern Michigan, but I want to talk about every place that wherever you can ride an ATV, ride a snowmobile. I want to talk about those areas. I want to explore those areas. I want to talk to people from those areas, and I want to get an idea of, hey, where should I be going? And maybe at the very least, I help you decide where you should try and go. And maybe you can come back and tell me, hey, this is definitely worth the trip. Got to click on something here. So Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, the snow belt, they're seeing all kinds of snow everywhere. It's really good conditions. They're going to see periodic snow showers throughout the week, lake effect, clipper systems active, and they expect 2 to 5 inches locally more in the belts. So along that snow belt across, northern Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, you're going to see snow throughout the area, on and off. And again, I'm on several different Facebook groups, and I'm seeing stuff from Wisconsin, and they're showing really good trails out there. So you can't be upset anywhere across that. It's really nice. So the weekly outlook for those areas, you got snow arriving midweek, widespread, light to moderate snowfall. Expect 2 to 5 inches higher in the mountains. Tug Hill and the Adirondacks. So this is northern New York. Sorry, I should have started with that. So I'm even trying to hit some of that too. Northern New York, expect around 2 to 5 inches expected across northern New York, with higher in the mountain areas. I've seen plenty of video of northern New York up to Maine, and their riding conditions are really good. You cannot really complain. And I had a segment, I don't even know if I covered it in the last show, where I had a map, and I think that map got messed up, so I wasn't able to put it on here, and I should have done it tonight. I'll bring it in Thursday when I do my show real quick before I head up to Michigan to go ride some snowmobiles. And it was showing all the way across from California that you could ride a snowmobile all the way from New York to California. You'd hit some areas that might be a little bare, but for the most part, it is possible for you to do that right now. That's how good the conditions are across the United States. So in the Northeast Belt, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and upstate New York mountains, which I already covered in the first one, but it kind of covered it again. You got active snow patterns that continue. You got clipper systems moving through, and you can expect 3 to 6 inches in those areas up there. You got deep snowpack in the mountain riding areas. Heavier snow in the parts of New England and upstate New York, with multiple inches expected. Again, really good conditions all across there. And I'm trying to expand a little bit more. This is a little backwards. So we kind of went from Michigan to the west, went to New York, and now we're heading back out west. So the Rockies, Sierra, high elevation zones, ongoing storm cycle, building snowpack, periods of steady snow throughout the week, strong coverage at elevation, reliable riding in the mountain corridors. So all of that, all those places out there, if you like to go do the mountain riding, you're not going to be disappointed anywhere. You're going to be able to take your snowmobile and go out there and have a great time. So the National Snowmobile Outlook, where can you ride right now? Strongest zones are the Great Lakes, UP, Tug Hill, Rockies. Reliable snow in northern Michigan, northern New York, and the New England mountains. It's patchy in southern Michigan and it Midwest transition zone. So, pretty much anywhere, south of, I was seeing as far down as, what was that in Michigan? Gosh darn it. I think below the Cadillac area, maybe even further south than that, people were riding. There was one that I saw the other day on the map, and I had to look it up, and it was pretty well south in southern Michigan. They had really good snow. So, good times or good stuff there. Obviously, if you go out in the mountains in the West, there's a couple people I follow in Facebook, and she was putting pictures that they were out there in, I think, Utah, and they were riding all over the place, plenty of deep snow. I was jealous because I like to ride in that stuff, and it's a lot of fun. You get out there and you get to check out the deep snow and have that stuff running over the top of your snowmobile. It's always a good time. All right. So as always, that's the cover. That was the coverage for everything I had there. But as always, remember, this weekend up there in Michigan, Petoskey, Petoskey will have their snowmobile breakfast from 8 a.m. to noon. Adults are 15. Kids 6 to 12 are $7. Kids under 6 or 5 and under are free. The address, let me see if I can move myself here. Nope, it won't let me move myself. Let me get rid of some stuff here. Maybe that's the problem. All right, there we go. So the address is 4172 Evergreen Trail, Petoskey, Michigan. Come out there, check it out. I plan on being there this Sunday. This Sunday is I'm planning on being at this breakfast. I want to ride my snowmobile to the breakfast. So please get out there, check it out. Hopefully I'll talk long enough to make this a segment so I can post it everywhere. All right, tonight I'm going to cover some safety stuff here. So snowmobile safety tips. I plan on doing a segment like this every show. It's not going to be long. It's going to be quick, to the point. And we're going to cover a little bit of things that people need to realize when they're going out there and riding. This week, what I'm going to talk about is rider fatigue. So the biggest thing is I want you to ride smart, ride prepared, and make sure you can ride home. Rider fatigue awareness. What fatigue does? It slows your reaction time, it impairs judgment, and it increases the risk of crash. When we get out there, we start riding for long hours all day, every day. You can take as many things as you want. You can take Red Bull, you can try all that stuff, but you're going to eventually start to crash a little bit. When you start to crash a little bit, trying really hard not to say all the time. Somebody got me on that this week and said they heard my video and they said, "Oh yeah, I knew who it was." And then you started going, well, I'm trying to cut that out. I need a buzzer or something to kind of shock myself every time I say that. Again, it slows reaction time, impairs judgment, and increases risk of crash. You get out there, you start getting tired. You're not really prepared to deal with that. That's when we get into trouble, and we have to deal with the simple fact that we have to make sure that our reaction time is still up, because there's deer out there right before it gets really dark. They'll start moving around. Other animals start moving around, and there's other riders out there. If you're tired and someone else is coming at you tired and everybody else is riding around tired, it increases the risk that we can all be out there and in danger. We've all watched the Trail 7 cam. We watch people make mistakes. And I would venture to say if we had a chance to ask them what was going on, it was always due to being out there for long hours, and they made that one last little thing, and they decided to show up there in front of the trail cam, do their little wave, and then something happens. And we've watched them jump on there and fall off the back of them. We watched their friends run into them, and we've seen some funny stuff when you're watching that Trail 7 cam. All right, so how to prevent it? Take breaks every 60 to 90 minutes. Make sure you're hydrating and eating regularly. Get proper sleep before riding, and make sure you stop riding before exhaustion. Now, that's easier said than done. We've all been out there and rode and ended up somewhere and thought maybe a trail was shorter than it really was. So I'm not really going to get into that as much, but I do know that when I go out riding, I usually take breaks I don't know if there's a set time of how many minutes or how many miles. We take breaks here and there throughout the day, stop for a few minutes. A few people might smoke, so they'll stop and smoke. And make sure you bring something to drink, keep hydrated. We'll probably stop there and talk. We might even ride to another restaurant. That's one thing that's kind of discouraging up in the Indian River area, because it's getting harder and harder to find finding places to ride, to go and kind of hang out. We used to have the Springbrook Golf Course. That was always kind of fun, because you rode around the Petoskey Trail, and then you kind of went off, and then when you got done, you could come back around and get back on the Petoskey to Wolverine and do that whole big loop there, and you had something to break it up in the middle there. Now we don't have that. Two-Wheel Cafe was kind of fun, but unfortunately the Two-Wheel Cafe is since shut down. And one of the other issues they had was the Two-Wheel Cafe was on the end of a bunch of roads that could be bare to nothing. So when I get up there this time, we're going to try a couple different areas, and I believe we're going to try a golf course I want to make a trip up to where the chateau is off of Trail 99. I understand they're only open either Thursday through Sunday or Friday through Sunday. I maybe somebody can correct me on that. Make sure I want to try that one out again. Another place was fun, the Bluff up on Black Lake. That was kind of interesting. I had forgotten all about that. I had been there before, forgotten all about it. Was riding, we came upon it and was like, hey, look at this. It was a nice little place to break up our trip. So it was fun. And that was a long trip for us up there. We rode all the way from Indian River, went up and did the Trail 99 loop, went up to the Scramble area, did all of that. And that was a decent size ride. I'm getting reports now that it looks like it just went away, but it looks like they're getting snow north of Indian River right now. And that's a live report. So bottom line, the ride is only good if everyone gets home. I've been on many trips where something's happened and we're limping back, trying to get back. We're dragging a snowmobile. We're doing, whatever. And that's not the goal. The goal is to come back. Everybody rides their own snowmobile back, puts it into the garage, and we get up and do it all over again in the next morning. That's the ultimate goal right there. Either way, guys, make sure that you follow these little tips, ride safe, and let's have a fun, easy, unplanned adventure. All right, so next up. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to fix something, but we'll do this and I'll fix the next part of it. The Trail Intel app. I have not covered this. I've wanted to cover this app. It is not, I will say, in Northern Michigan, this app is not being utilized as much as I would like, but we'll talk about it. Maybe you'll want to use it the next time you go out and ride. I'm going to try and demo it some more up in Northern Michigan, and I'll tell you the pros and cons of that area. But I know it's used heavily in the New England, New York area. It's a staple up there. Snowmobile groups are using it. It's very big. One of the other things I'll talk about is another one, but we'll get into that. All right, I threw this together, so there will be some mistakes. I apologize, but I didn't want to miss my 7:30 deadline, and I missed it by about 2 minutes. So bear with me. I'll fix this. I'll get better next time, right? So the Trail Intel app, you want to ride. It's going to help you ride smarter with real-time trail information. Riders can go in here and put information in there. Snowmobile groups can put information in there. While I do push the Trail Groomer, or the Groomer Tracker app, I still push the Trail. Gosh darn it! Hey, I'm going to push it, but I don't know what it's called. The Groomer Tracker app. I'm going to talk about that one in depth here in a few minutes. I'm going to pull up some different things about it, but what I will say is that this one here is a GPS map system or app that is put together. It has information that real-time riders can go in there and put stuff in. If maybe there's a tree down, maybe there's something going on, they can go in there and put that in there. And while it doesn't necessarily help you while you're riding, unless you're looking right at it, but if you stop, you pull it up, you might find out, hey, trail conditions going down this trail are not very good, so let's go down this trail. Or somebody else just rode down through here and said this trail is magnificent. They might even tell you some other stuff like, hey, down this trail, there's a group of deer. Go down and check it out. Gives you a chance to go do that. That is the beauty of the Trail Intel app, the stuff that I saw there. Your groups or your snowmobile groups, your grooming clubs can get in there. They can actually put information in there and let you know some different things. Because it's always great that we can look at the Groomer app and tell what's been done, but there might be other information that we need to know that is, pertinent to that route that may not be in the Groomer app, may not come up in the Groomer app. So that gives you an idea. One thing you might want to plan out a ride, you might want to go to a specific place and someone might tell you, hey, this restaurant's closed or this gas station's closed. Make sure you get gas before you get to this area. That's all things that can be put into the Trail Intel. So while, like I said, it's not really a big thing in Michigan yet, let's try and make it that way. Let's go out here and test this thing out. Let's get out here and run it around and see what's going on and get the word out and see if this is something that people can get behind, because I really do think it has some merit. I was reading different things in the app and watching where people were putting information in, and I feel like it can really help. Again, it lets you plan better routes, stay informed, and just overall information. So what does it show? What does the Trail Intel app provide? It has trail condition reports, grooming and activity updates, rider submitted trail feedback, weather and snow impact. So it's going to give you more information than just the groomer went through there. This is just another tool that you can use. And there is you can open it up and look at most of the stuff without actually joining it, but there is some added features if you join it, and I'll look into it a little bit more to see what the fees and everything are. I can't believe my this thing kind of got messed up when I transferred it over. So why do they use it? You can find the best riding in the area. You can avoid thin or rough trails. Again, the Groomer Tracker app may show that it's been groomed, but there may be some hidden issue on there that you may not even know about. And this app will let you see that in real time, and they can even pinpoint. I believe they can even drop pins, but if they can't, either way, I'm going to try it out some more and let you know and get back to you with that. You can plan safer, smoother rides and stay updated during the changing conditions. Let's say you get out there, you stop somewhere, and you want to know, like, am I going the right way, or should we turn around and go back? This is a good app to have in your arsenal to be able to kind of look into that kind of stuff. How to use it. How to use the Trail Intel. It's in the App Store or your Google Play. You can download it, open it up. Real easy. I will put some screenshots and do some stuff that way. I just need to make sure that that's okay. Check conditions before you ride. Monitor your planned route and look for recent rider updates. And you can adjust it based on routes. Again, this thing kind of messed up here. I hope my other one, that for some reason it's not in here yet, so I've got to go back and add it. But hopefully my other PowerPoint is not like this. Rider tip. Trail conditions can change quickly due to weather, traffic, and grooming. Always verify updates before heading out. And bottom line, good intel equals a better ride. So get out there, check it out. Try this out. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Put in my comments and tell me, was this good? Was this bad? Did you like this app? Do you not like this app? Let me know, because I'm getting information from the people that run this, and maybe I can give them some information that might be helpful. They can improve or do something differently. Yeah. I'm really trying to look at some different things. They've asked me about possible, doing some, they asked me about possibly doing some different advertising with them. And I really want to, but one of my issues at this time is it's not a whole lot going on in the northern Michigan area. And I want to make sure before I lock on there, is that something that northern Michigan is going to get behind, or is that just something that maybe it's just specific to the areas around New York and Vermont and stuff like that? So I just want to make sure before I get too invested that people want to actually see that kind of thing. I think it definitely has some merit. Let me know if you've been out there using it. Let me know if it's something that you've already checked out, so I can kind of push it some more. And I'm going to try it out myself this next trip. I'm going to run it. I'm going to go down some different trails. I'm going to make sure it's good. I'm going to even try, maybe even see if I can do some updates and put some stuff in there and have some people test it to make sure that, yes, we saw that and we can do this. So as always, here's one of my favorite apps, the Groomer Tracker app. The Groomer Tracker app helps you track groomers to let you know where they've ran, let you know what they're doing. It has real-time grooming updates. I have been on the groomer and looked at this. Now, I wasn't driving a groomer, so don't think anybody, I was out there looking at my phone while I was trying to drive. I was actually just sitting in the groomer with somebody else. They were driving it. And I was watching on the app where I was and how quick it was updating. It was within, I'd say, a quarter of a mile. maybe an eighth of a mile difference. So it was updating pretty rapid. It may have taken longer depending on where I was at the time, whether or not my phone was hitting, but for the most part, it was very accurate to how close I was and where I was at. I was checking it out, trying to make sure that when it was doing its updates, that way people can look at it. And if you're sitting at a restaurant or you're sitting at an area, you can look and see, oh, here comes the groomer now, or the groomer's going down the trail. It can help you plan because, one, you don't want to really get out on the trail and head towards the groomer because that makes things hard. The groomer cannot get off the trail. So if the trail doesn't have as much clearance on the sides, you might want to plan ahead and decide, like, okay, do we want to wait a few minutes and let it go by, or do we want to try and go meet it somewhere and get off the trail? The trail cannot get off, so you're going to the groomer cannot get off the trail, so you're going to have to accommodate the groomer. And sometimes people don't want to do that. Some people get upset. They get off the trail. You might get off the trail and get into a ditch and have some other issues. So this helps you plan for that. You can see when everything was last groomed, and I've covered it before. When it's green on the groomer tracker app for the area you're looking at, green means it's been done in the last 12 hours. If it's yellow, it's been done in 12 to 24 hours. And if it's red, it hasn't been done in 24 hours. So that gives you an idea of what you're doing. And you're only going to see that if you subscribe to those specific groups. So if you subscribe to the Indian River Grooming Club, you're going to see Indian River. You're going to have to subscribe to Petoskey, Jordan Hill, Antrim, any of those places there. If you're in the UP, you're going to have to subscribe to the Chippewa. Why my head? Is it Trailblazers? Oh, I hope I didn't say it wrong, guys. But it's Chippewa. You got to look it up there. That's the Strong's area. Strong's, Hulbert, in those areas there. And you can go on the map, open it up. It'll show you the different clubs that are available, and it kind of shows you what trails that they work on. So if you don't know what trails you're actually riding on, look at that app and figure it out, and figure out what's closest to you to get an idea. Most of them are $9.99, and that's a year-long subscription. So for $10, you get a year-long subscription to it on the Groomer Tracker app, and you'll have to update every year. You can I believe you can put it on auto update, but if not, you might have to go in there and push the button. I belong to several of them that are around me for the sheer fact that I want to know what I'm getting into and how bad the conditions might be. All right, just like I covered already, it shows what the live groomer locations, last groom trail times, trail condition updates. It doesn't really get into that because it doesn't really tell you what's going on there, but it just shows that the groomer's been out. So that gives you an idea that it is pretty good. It's not going to tell you if there's some type of hazard or anything. It's just going to show that the groomer went through there. You can find freshly groomed trails, avoid rough and ungroomed sections, plan longer, smoother rides, and support your local trail clubs. Again, $9.99. The clubs that you subscribe to get a portion of that money at the end of the year. And if you know anything about these clubs, any little bit of money helps them keep their stuff running, because they're all volunteers. They're volunteers, not only volunteering to run around and take care of the trails, but these guys put in long hours clearing the trails, working on these groomers and making sure they're going out, and stuff breaks down all the time. There's been a couple of them just recently in the Indian River area that have one of them not too far away from there ran off the trail. That was unfortunate, I believe, but that, now they've got to get something out there and try and pull that out. These are not small. They're not small equipment, so they're going to need lots of help. Plus, where they're going is not very accessible to anything, so that can be a problem. Also, I've seen quite a few of these groomers this year have to replace tracks. That is a huge thing. Those piston bullies are, have those big tracks on them, and that's a huge ordeal to change that stuff out, especially if they got to do it out in the cold. Luckily, I did see a few people donate their heated shops, so that helped. But if not, they're going to be doing this stuff right out there, laying on the cold ground. And these guys are dedicated. They're ready. They want to get that groomer back going out there and getting it back out there so your trails are good. All right. So how to use the Groomer Tracker app. You want to open the app before riding, check out where your riding area is, look for decent grooming passes, and adjust your route based on the trail status. So all those things are kind of no-brainers. Most of us want to go out there and have a good time. Some people want to have a little bit of, bump in their ride, but for the most part, as far as trail riding goes, if you have a large group, especially if you have, basically new riders, it is tougher on them to go out and do that kind of stuff. It's easier to kind of train them on the trails that are groomed and easier to ride. Rider tip: groom trails are smoothest right after grooming. That's a no-brainer. I don't know why it even had to put all that stuff in there. Early morning to late evening often provide the best ride quality. So I'll give you a little insider baseball tip. The Indian River groomers usually go out around 6-ish. Usually, depending on the temperature. If the temperature drops quite a bit once it gets dark, they get out there because it definitely holds up better if it's frozen. They can groom it, and then hopefully their plan is that nobody's on it for at least a couple hours, and it has time to kind of freeze in that place, so it will hold up better. I know that's wishful thinking sometimes, but it can happen, especially during the week. They get out there during the week, there is a better chance that they're going to groom it. Typically, they don't groom on Tuesdays, but I think a friend of mine is out there grooming tomorrow night because he's getting trained to do it. They'll get out there. They're probably out there grooming right now. I could pull up the app. They're probably out there grooming right now, and they'll get out there and run around there. But those guys will be out there for quite a while. I know Petoskey, that's a big loop too. And Indian River, it takes 2 groomers, I believe 5 hours or more to hit that kind of area. So they're covering a lot of ground, But I appreciate it, and everybody else should appreciate it too. And you can show your appreciation by going to the Groomer Tracker app, subscribing to the groomers that you're using, because some of that proceeds goes to them. And also join a club. Join one of the clubs. Join Inland Lakes Snowmobile Club. That is a good one there. They are hand in hand with the Indian River Snowmobile Club. The Indian River Groomer Club. So the money helps fund that. They go out and do a lot of brushing and everything. So equipment is shared by those 2 clubs, and it helps them out. Also, Petoskey has their own groomers. Jordan Valley, you can join Jordan Valley down a little bit further over to the west and south. And Antrim County, I saw where they're posting a bunch of stuff. Either way, look at the area that you're in and try and join the club. Whether you do it actively, but at least monetarily, that money will help them more than you'll know, because that is all volunteer stuff. All right, so let's go on to shameless plug time. Go to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. It lets you know when I'm live, and I am sporadic at best. So it kind of, it's hit or miss. You can follow me on Facebook, The Unplanned Adventure, Instagram, The Unplanned Adventure 98, TikTok is The Unplanned Adventure, and Rumble, The Unplanned Adventure. Rumble, the only problem with Rumble is you can't really find me yet. I don't understand their algorithm. I just keep loading stuff, hoping that one day it clicks and it says, hey, there's enough in here. We'll actually push this guy's content. Other than that, find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I will tell you this. I am a little bit more active on Facebook. I do post to TikTok because it will do automatic updates to TikTok when I'm doing other stuff. Instagram, I am not that active on it. I probably should be, but for whatever reason, I'm just not. It's just an app I really wasn't into that often. So it's hit or miss. I do try and load up there whenever I think about it, and I'll probably try and load something when I get off of here. But for the most part, Facebook and Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. I'm sorry, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. When I get done with this live stream, the live stream automatically goes into an area of the program I'm using, and it does automatic clips. Now, one thing I did find out after I've been doing this for a little while, if I don't go in and adjust those clips, and you probably saw that in my YouTube shorts or something, it doesn't adjust so you can't read certain things. So, like my segment on safety, that'll probably make its own clip, but it will not be readable unless I go in there and change it. So now that I know that, I will go in there and change it. Other than that, that's the biggest thing I got. If anybody has anything in the chat they want to throw in there or talk about anything I've discussed, even after this, if you want to throw something in there, let me know. I definitely check my chat stream actively, and I check Facebook. People have contacted me, let me know, hey, they're going to be up there this weekend and going to ride the different trails. Hopefully I'll see you. I'll be the one with some goofy cameras on my stuff, because I've got a bunch of different mounts that I'm going to put on my camera or on my snowmobile, because I want to try and catch some different angles. Want to try some different things out and get plenty of video. Other than that, it's only been about 35 minutes. Nobody's in the chat right now, but I'm going to go ahead and call it quits, because I've got to get packed and get my stuff ready, because I'm ready to go do some riding as soon as possible. Thank you for coming out tonight. Hopefully you check it out. Again, find me on my different social media accounts and follow me, and go out there and have a good time. Look for that unplanned adventure.